perhaps somewhat unsurprisingly, my reaction will be very similar to that of pretty much everyone. That is one of shock, heartbreak, despair. And I can also say that based on my many discussions with various community representatives and leaders, it is something which is reflected across the board. And indeed, even this evening, I participated in a vigil organised by the Jewish Council of Australia alongside a rabbi from the area. And there was a real shared experience of the grief and offering support. And I say that also because it was only a few years back, of course, when the Muslim community experienced Christchurch, which was also a situation of people coming together to practice their faith, being gunned down. And that's what unfolded yesterday. And so it was a very triggering and traumatic experience for so many, but particularly faith communities, when there is a peaceful observance of some religious practice here, Hanukkah, on the beach, and something like this happens. It's traumatic. It's heartbreaking.
Yes, and you said you've had the chance to speak with members of the Jewish community, leaders from there. What have they been telling you today?
Look, I think certainly the discussions I've had, one of appreciation of people reaching out and expressing support and solidarity. And, I think to ensure that they don't feel alone or abandoned, and, reflecting back on the horrible occurrence that was Christchurch, one of the things, or one of the lights to come out of that experience was, firstly, how the political leaders in that country united the country, but secondly, how communities came together, embraced each other. And so rather than the objectives of people of hate being achieved, that is dividing the community, ripping the very social fabric of our country, instead it was strengthened. And so really the focus here on the back of that experience and trauma is to not abandon now our Jewish brothers and sisters who are grieving, but rather reach out to them, stand with them side by side. And that's what I did for a lot of this evening at this vigil. And it was a real privilege and honour to be able to do that and to convey the support and sense of solidarity. And we stood as Australians, as in this instance, people of faith, people of different backgrounds, together.
Do you believe that an incident like this does have the capacity to divide the country socially, even on religious lines as well?
Well, Girish, it can. The reality is, if shock jocks and right-wing commentators want to peddle certain narratives, that will divide. If individuals and communities want to take a path of divisive narrative, that can divide. If other opportunists want to use this as a platform to try and pursue other objectives, such as let's talk about Palestine, it's all because of Palestine. Frankly, not only is it unhelpful and disrespectful, but it's harmful. It harms our social fabric. It ignores the very suffering and grief of the lives that have been lost. And that's why I say that what we are experiencing is something that has occurred in the recent past, and we can draw lessons from that in terms of how we respond. And there's a responsibility on all of us to support and to pursue and ensure a unity and solidarity in terms of the media commentators, the politicians, individuals and communities. And sadly, of course, there will be those who do take it in different directions, and it could divide. But thankfully, from the discussions I've had, the greater focus is on the message, one, of supporting and expressing solidarity with the community grieving, and secondly, expressing messages of unity and ensuring that our country is not ripped apart, and that we stand together as Australians, as people of this society, and that we are able to give the appropriate support to a community which is grieving.
Yes, Bilal, small but loud voices have once again put to light, the issue of immigration and limits that perhaps the government needs to look at. What's your response to that?
Well, Those voices have spoken about Palestine. Those voices have spoken about people of non-Anglo-Saxon background. Those people have spoken about all sorts of things. The people who visit beaches and maybe they should be non-whites, Cronulla, etc. So it's a matter for us what we focus on and what we talk about. If we want to talk about all those, give platform to those issues and pursue and perpetuate the very objectives of the people who killed here, then sure, that's a decision that people have to make. It's a decision that each of you have to make, Girish, Michael, etc., as a part of the media. There is a responsibility here. And that's why I keep coming back to the core message or objective for my part, that it is not about immigration or Palestine or who goes to the beaches and who doesn't. It's really not. And for those that say it is, well, get a hold of yourself. There are people that have been killed. And you know, on your coverage, you spoke about Ahmed al-Ahmed. Well, guess what? He's of Syrian background and a Muslim and a father of two. Now, should we condemn him as well? Should we say he shouldn't have migrated here or he should never go to a beach? Because that's what it sounds like. But that's precisely why we need to be very careful of those types of inquiries and discussions, because that's what it'll become. It'll become condemning Ahmed. And if there are people that want to do that, well, frankly, they are not people that I want to engage with. They are not people I stand in solidarity with. But I do stand with those who seek peace, who seek unity, and certainly with those who are grieving and the community which is grieving.
Yes, you represent a very huge community of Muslims in Australia. How can that community offer support to your Jewish brothers and sisters?
Well, standing alongside them, offering support, reaching out, which is what so many are doing across the country, and engaging and letting them know that we are here to support you. And that's indeed how I presume most other communities might respond as well. And, and I think from the discussions I've had with many of my Jewish colleagues, and for instance, the people that I was with tonight at the vigil, which was held in Hyde Park in Sydney, they expressed a very strong appreciation of people coming out, reaching out, speaking to them and letting them know that you're not alone, particularly when it's people from different backgrounds and different faiths, as it was tonight. And these experiences are heartwarming, and they do remind me of some of the positivity and light which emanated from the Christchurch massacre only a few years ago, when people that one may never deal with suddenly come together and you stand side by side. For me, that's the focus. That's the discussion. That's the support, not migration. If anyone wants to speak to migration, I'm sure Pauline Hanson will give an insight there. Have a discussion with her, not with me. I don't want to waste my time with that. I would rather put it into positive endeavours, positive objectives and positive outcomes, which are for the benefit of our society, not the detriment.
Well, time for support and unity. Bilal Rauf from the Australian National Imams Council, thank you so much.
My pleasure.